Hey everybody, Jake here from Bearded Gear. I wanted to do a quick video on this new piece of gear that I just picked up that's going in my hiking day pack, the pack that I hike with almost every time I ever go hiking. So I figured it was worth showing since it's going to be kind of a regular rotation piece of gear for me. These are some Mechanixwear gloves. I forget what model they call these. The original, there you go. These are a size medium because I have medium hands and I'm medium cool. Anyways, this is, I just saw an ad on Instagram randomly for these. They were on sale for like, I think it was 20 bucks, and they came with a face mask, which everyone needs face masks right now. So I ordered a set. It was funny. They sent me a set and they were actually in two different colors, which was funny. They were both camo, but they were two different colors of camo. So I emailed their customer service and they sent out a new set right away and just gave me a return label to send those other back. So Mechanixwear is a cool company. I've had nothing but good experiences with them in the past. I've actually owned a few pairs. The pair, I hate to admit this, but the pair of gloves that I had in my pack, just as my like beater hiking gloves, for, I don't know, the last year and a half, maybe more, 2 years, something like that, were actually like a knockoff pair of Mechanixwear that I got. And I didn't think they were knockoffs when I bought them, but they were like impossibly cheap from kind of a sketchy site. And then, yeah, they just, I'm not 100% certain they were knockoffs, but with how cheap they were and the way that like the Velcro wore out super fast and a couple things made me think that they actually weren't real. And then now having these are a different model from Mechanixwear, but these feel noticeably nicer than those did, even though these should be a lower end model. Anyways, these are real. These I got directly from Mechanixwear's site, and I do not condone buying clones of anything, whether it be knives, lights, gloves. I just think that's a terrible thing to do. So I threw those old ones away, and these are going to be my new go-to. So I'm going to flip the camera around, talk about them a little bit more, but I figured I would show you guys before I show you me. Anyways, let's turn you around. All right, so for the longest time, I didn't use work gloves for pretty much anything. In fact, when I'm like working on a car or something, I usually prefer to not have gloves because I like having a lot of dexterity. But ultimately, it was like, I don't know, probably 4 years ago, I was on a hike in these mountains, and I went farther than I was planning on going in that day. I ended up going all the way up to Mount Wilson, and I started low down in a canyon, and I just kept going because I was having a lot of fun. And there was a spot where when you're up kind of past, it's called Mount Low, there's this, you follow the ridge line for a while, and then you dip down and you skip up onto like the next ridge line over. But after you dip down, the climb up to what ultimately puts you on like the Mount Wilson, the old, I think it's the toll road or the fire road. There's this really like sandy, loose face, and it's super sketchy. And at the time, this was before I even started hiking and like actual trail running shoes with grip on them. I was wearing like old Nikes that I used to run in. And so I was going up that face, and it was really loose and probably like sketchier than I should have been doing alone, way farther than I told anyone I was going. Welcome to my life, right? But about a third of the way up, I got to this spot where there was this like rusted out old steel cable that was like splintery and terrifying to hold on to, but I needed to use it as a handhold to really get up this face, and I didn't have any gloves on me or anything. And I, from that moment, was like, I'm gonna keep a pair of gloves in my pack for stuff like this when it happens. Do I use the gloves that live in my pack often? No, but every now and then, if I'm like off trail somewhere and I'm having to climb up a sketchy, like sharp, rocky face or get up a tree or whatever it is, there's rough stuff up here that I do with my hands. And so I just, it makes sense to me to have a pair of gloves that I can count on. They don't have to be crazy expensive or anything. I think these cost me like 20 bucks. And like I said, my last pair were impossibly cheap. But I just like having something to protect my hands with. And it's not like I said, use them very often, but it's one of those things where these weigh basically nothing. To chuck them into the bottom of my bag and just leave them there is like, it's thoughtless for me. And every now and then they come in so handy. If you watched, I did a video a couple weeks ago where I was tracking a bobcat down in the Angeles forest, down a ridge line to this like reservoir lake thing where there's a dam. It's in Big Tahunga Canyon. And there were spots where I was getting down faces that there was no trail, not even game trails for a lot of the way. I was just following the prints of this big cat that I was following down this way. And it took me down some really sketchy stuff where I was going through like tight little ravines that were really rocky, and the only plants around were like the yucca plants that have super sharp bases. And so anything that I could like use as handholds I was having to use because it was really sketchy. And so I got my gloves out on that hike, and it made a huge difference to not be like tearing up my hands going over this stuff. And so yeah, I mean, obviously you guys know what gloves are, you know why they come in handy, but I think there's something that belongs in a hiking pack. At least for me, they come in handy enough that I like to always have them in there. So Mechanixwear is my favorite glove brand. Every pair of their gloves that I've ever owned, I've really liked the way they fit. I like the way that they wear in. I like how long they last. I like the way the components fit and last, like the kind of rubberized surface here on the Velcro strap works great, gives me great grip. They've got these pull tabs. The Velcro itself lasts a long time and stays grippy, even when I've used it over and over and over, and I can sweat in them. They've got a little bit of padding here, so even if I'm like wiping my nose, and like these gloves are thought out really well from Mechanixwear. Plus I think they look great in this camo color. I dig it aesthetically. I actually have a pair in multicam coming that are like a cinch wrist, like an elasticy wrist instead of the Velcro. I've never tried that kind before, so I'm going to try those out as well. But I really like these. I think, yeah, that's really cool. I can also use the touchscreen on my Apple Watch with these on, so that's nice. I would use my phone, but I'm filming with it. So yeah, these have a lot of features built in that just make them, in my opinion, the best gloves for the money. And the name is, people know what Mechanixwear is for a reason. They've built a reputation, and they make great outdoor gloves. They make great work gloves for whether you're a mechanic working in the shop, or if your work means you're chopping wood, whatever it is. I've had great experiences with them. So I figured I'd show them to you guys because it's an interesting enough piece of kit that I was excited to get, and it's not like they're very expensive. I think they're just kind of a no-brainer. So if you plan on doing the type of stuff that I like doing, or if you're trying to build out like your perfect 72-hour kit bag, or just a hiking pack, or whatever it is, I think it's easy to overlook having gloves in a kit, but to me it's worthwhile. So yeah, I really like these, and they look awesome. This is a really cool aesthetic. I dig them quite a bit. So these are going to be my new go-to. These are what's going to live in my pack from now on, so you may see them every now and then if I get them out on hikes. And yeah, that'll be that. These are my Mechanixwear, what did I say they were? Classics, I think. Let me make sure. The original, not classics. Mechanixwear Originals. And this, I think, is called their Woodland Camo. Might be wrong on that, but they were sweet. I got them, I don't know, 2 weeks ago I ordered them. They've been here for a little bit, but I'm just now showing you guys. So I'm going to stop rambling. There they are. Really cool gloves.